today's session. So Jefferson, I think we can start on record.
You got it, Dave.
Thank you, man. And we can probably kill the waiting room as well. I can do that. All right. Excellent. Let's go. Hey, welcome everybody to PIC Preliminaries, second round of three, as I usually say. You're very welcome to join us today. Looking forward to hearing from some fantastic innovators. And I'm joined by Marina. Marina, we're back again.
Yes, we're back again. Hi, nice to see you for the second time. Looking forward for time number 3, as you say, tomorrow.
There you go. I've converted you to a bit of Dublinese accent.
Totally. I pick up languages quickly.
It's an improvement, honestly. Don't let people tell you it isn't. What are we doing here today? Well, let's go through the rules, right? So you'll each have 3 minutes to pitch your idea, 3 slides, and 3 dragons. We've just got 1 dragon today. Is that like some Bulgarian fairy
Yeah,
tale, Marina?
in Bulgarian folklore, you actually always have 1 dragon, but the dragon has 3 heads, as you say, 3 heads for the rest of English speakers. But because 2 heads of our 3-headed dragons were really busy today, one is on the way to the airport, the other one is at an offsite. We basically lost 2 heads. Yeah, and as macabre as it may sound, in Bulgarian fairy tales, you need to chop off all the heads. Yesterday we lost 1, today 2, so I don't want to think about tomorrow, but I think tomorrow we'll have all the heads present. Yeah, but let's introduce the heads of our 3-headed dragon.
Yeah. So you've heard from Marina and I. So Tommaso Rossi is joining us, but he's one of the missing heads. Peter Reynolds, also a missing head today, but they will get the recording, so they will see you as you pitch. And as they're the judges, they will see you later. So it won't be live for them. But we do have Veronique live, which is great. Always a pleasure.
I'm there
So,
and ready to spit fire.
oh,
Yeah.
in
And
triplicate.
just to say, the 2 missing heads borrowed us their brains, so we actually have their questions, and they will be asked on behalf of the missing dragons.
Excellent. So hopefully that's the preamble done. Hopefully it's answered your questions that maybe you had in your head, or maybe you're just saying, let's get on with it. So let's start. And Miklós will ask you to join. And on the basis that you're here, I think you are.
Hey, yes.
Hi, Miklós, good to see you. So just a quick instruction before I set you off on your way. Last instruction. So just ask us to go next slide, please. Otherwise, you're good to go. So Miklós, welcome to the PIC stage.
Thank you very much. Well, next slide, please. Localization operates like an assembly line still today. Content in translation happens. We do quality checks and fixes, many times fixing the same errors, and then we deliver. The quality checks can be human or AI and fixes as well, but the system don't really learn. We have some manual ways to feedback the system, but most of the time it's not live, it's not instant. So due to this lack of feedback, we have issues and we want to fix them. So let me talk about AI-related features mainly. If you have an AI-generated translation, there is a prompt somewhere in the system that generates a translation. And what we generally do is try to come to a prompt engineering means to generate a better prompt that fixes certain issues, may break others. Or we add more linguistic instructions. Overloaded prompts will become available to the system, which cause hallucinations and also contain a lot of irrelevant information to most of the content. So neither of them really work. And that means that over the 2 years since LLMs are on the stage, we have scaled volume very well, but we didn't scale control. So what we did, we built a system that tries to learn from its mistakes. So we capture, next slide, please. We capture the automatic and human edits in every step of the process and put it into learnings DB. That's what we call it. And when a content comes in for translation, we retrieve this information and we try to find the best examples to feed back to the system, bad or good examples, both of them. And that is what helps to avoid the repeating errors. But we didn't stop there. Could you just click? Yeah. We didn't stop there. There's a second feedback loop that we added to this. And the goal of this loop is to process and curate the learnings DB. There is a human element in there. Humans are requested to validate the patterns and provide linguistic insights that are like little style guide elements. And that can be seen as the next generation of style guides pretty much. And therefore, it is a continuously improving system that elevates the final prompt responsible for the translation generation to a content-specific style guide with examples. So that's pretty much the process. And let me talk a little bit about the results. And if you could go to the last slide there, the client who we are working on this process together with has just reported that they run the best ever campaign that they run end of last year. Because they didn't use a preloaded marketing campaign, but they could navigate it throughout the campaign period. And that showed that the localization could become a long-term competitive advantage and the driver of growth.
Oh, brilliant. I was just showing you
My
10
watch,
seconds
it's
left.
3 minutes exactly, sorry.
Yeah, you're right on. Well done on time. Really good presentation as well. Let's see if we have a question from a dragon. Veronique, do you have a question
Sure.
for Miklós?
Miklós, great presentation. Thank you. So
Thank you.
your system really learns from its own correction. It's got this self loop. So how do you prevent your solution, your system, from enforcing the wrong patterns over time? So how do you avoid model drift?
Yeah, so that's where the second feedback loop comes into the picture. So yes, the first feedback loop is pretty much like an instant loop, and that doesn't prevent it. So if the system keeps fixing something that it shouldn't, it could feed back the wrong thing. We try to avoid that one, of course. But the second loop is there to curate this learnings DB. So if there's a pattern that is incorrect, the human can remove. If there's a pattern that makes sense, then the human can put it into the linguistic insights database, and that will live there forever.
Okay, so you have your human intervention to catch these
Yes.
issues, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, but that's the next level human intervention. It's not translation related. It's more like building this next generation style guide thing.
Thank you, Miklós.
Thank you, Miklós. Thank you, Miklós. For a while, I got afraid that we lost the last head of our dragon. Veronique, maybe if you can share video so that we can see you, because we can't, or at least I can't. I don't know whether you have turned off your video, but without further ado, yeah, there it is, the beautiful head of the dragon. Without further ado, let's move on to the next innovator, and that is Stephen Cook, who is gonna talk about context-aware machine translations that have lost their keys, just like my kids this morning.
Yeah, hopefully, this isn't so much of an inconvenience. But yeah, cool. I'll start my timer if we go to the next slide, please. Cool. So we're talking about keyless localization. So let's first of all just refresh ourselves on why key-based is the de facto standard. So 30 years ago, when this stuff was being created, you're making a desktop app, well, very, very likely a desktop app. Your engineers working on this software, they can't translate that into all of your languages. You have your translators, they can't code. So we have to separate those two elements. You also can't have the translators being sat at the desk of the users who want to use the software. So that means you have to have the translator sat in the middle. To push things across, we create these keys, these JSON blobs, to allow some semblance of context to be given to these translators. It works well with static text. It means that if you have dynamic text, so either user-generated text or other server-generated text, etc., tough luck, you can't translate it. If we go over to the next slide. So the alternative here is runtime, and because of LLMs and because of faster and faster machine models for these translations, it actually changes that initial assumption that the translator cannot sit with the user while they want to use the software. So this is the innovation that we've built. We built a runtime engine that actually loads into an application and can wrap around any text that needs to be translated, static, dynamic, it doesn't matter. It will then generate a load of interesting context fingerprints. So similar to what a key looks like in the key-based model, it generates a stable identifier of here's what this thing needs translating. This then enables us to send that up, make the request for the translation file like you do traditionally. But this can then either, if the text doesn't exist already, very synchronously have a LLM do translation, or it can come from a human translation that's done async. If we go to the next slide, first question obviously is why bother? So if it's not broken, don't fix it. Why are we looking at shifting all these things around? So in the traditional model, unless you have an entire team that's building out massive localization infrastructure for you, you're very likely in a world where your translations are once per build. You need to get all the translations done. And if there's any mistakes in there, is anything wrong, you need to get the engineers to push things back in. You need to get a deployed, redone. That's slow. It causes friction. It makes everything a bit more difficult. Conversely, with the runtime example, it means that translation can happen at runtime. So if the string's never been seen before, don't worry. If there's a change that you want to make at last minute, don't worry. That's all good. If new context becomes available, so for example, our engine takes snapshots or can take snapshots of the site to give that additional context, great, that can be fed in. The machines or humans can then translate asynchronously to give proper context there. So that's what we have been building, and that's my time. Thank you.
Excellent. Very good on time, Stephen, as well. Let's ask a question to a headless dragon, Marina.
May I ask a question? I always wanted to be a dragon. Super interesting. And there is a question that comes from Tommaso, but actually I would have asked it as well myself. So how do you ensure actually consistency across different pages? Because there are no predefined strings or keys, how does the AI know to guarantee consistency when translating, say, a product name or a UI label that appears multiple places with different context?
Sure. So there's a couple of elements to this, right? So one is that the engine itself can actually try and add a load of identifiers that are as useful as possible. So it can tag out keywords, it can tag out various things that can be calculated at runtime so that the backend understands what this thing is. The second piece is through basically prompt creation. So the backend engine can learn and say, okay, actually this is a product name, be careful of this. This is a piece here. You can then have snapshots as additional context be fed in so that the machine can look at, or the human can look at, here's what the actual pages look like. Does this look consistent? Is there an issue? So the idea of this is mostly to be self-healing. So it's not trying to get it necessarily correct on the first time. So the first user maybe sees a subpar experience, but if you're, serving 100,000 users every month, the first couple of users maybe don't see the perfect thing, but the system can very quickly self-heal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's move on to the next speaker. Let me invite to the stage Oscar Martinez from Lock and Capture. Welcome back to the PIC, Oscar. So tell us about your collaborative platform for multimedia. We are curious to hear about that.
Sure thing. Hello, everyone. Can we go to the next slide, please? So yeah, reviewing one video in one language is easy. But reviewing it in 50 languages, that's where everything breaks. So at Lock and Capture, we've been working for years in multimedia localization, and we kept running into the same problem. Reviewing localized video doesn't scale. When you have multiple languages, multiple stakeholders, and tight deadlines, QA quickly becomes chaotic, feedback is scattered, and workflows are unclear, and teams are constantly chasing information. What if reviewing multilingual video could be synchronized? What if everyone could work together in real time in the same environment? That's where Fly.QC suite comes in. Can we move to the next slide, please? So QC doesn't scale. It's manual, repetitive, and fragmented. Today, workflows involve emails, spreadsheets, and disconnected tools. Each stakeholder works in isolation, and as languages grow, complexity explodes. QA becomes the bottleneck. Fly.QC suite brings linguistic QC, technical QC, and project management into one collaborative workflow. Picture Maria. She's a project manager handling a 30-language video project. She creates a session in Fly.QC, uploads the video, and invites her team. Kenji, a linguist, reviews and adds all his comments. Laura, technical QC, checks formatting and sync. She even uses integrated AI to automatically check all backgrounds and all text against the reference and the translation. All feedback happens in real time. So Alex, the editor, sees comments instantly and starts implementing changes. Maria, the project manager, tracks progress, validates all versions, and generates a final report. No manual consolidation, no fragmented communication. Next month, she's ready to revisit all projects and download a report for her boss, who can now keep track of the common mistakes, the approval time per project, etc. So can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So from fragmented manual QA to scalable collaboration. This is one platform for linguists, QC, and clients. One source of truth for all feedback, real-time issue tracking and reporting. So no more emails or scattered conversation around QC. Fly.QC transforms QA into a scalable, structured process. Thank you.
Fabulous, Oscar. Great job. Great to see you at the PIC again. Yeah, really good on time. So we've extra time for questions. And I think Peter has some questions, but again, Marina is going to ask them.
Oh no, I think that
No, I'm here this time.
Yes.
I've just apologies for being
Marina, come back and ask the question.
You just don't like Dublin accents. That's your problem. Oscar, thank you very much. It was really interesting. What I'm interested in is, have you got any figure, any data to show what you've saved by using this solution? Could you provide us anything like, what's the feedback?
Oh, yeah, feedback has been amazing. We are using the tool in an offline way for a long time, and we actually have been in the peak some years ago, and we won the runner-up. But this is much bigger now. Like, this is a full platform where everyone comes together and it stops, sending emails and getting screenshots and putting timestamps in an email and in the Slack channel and everything. This keeps everything together so everyone is on track. And yeah, people is getting very excited about it, because then there's too much work that is going right now that is going to disappear, and it's going to be much more efficient.
And do you have any data for how much of what savings are?
Sure. How much the time server just stop doing one by one, because that's the industry is still doing it one by one. So they check one video against the reference, just to be able to deliver 5 to 6 control to review them at the same time. It's a huge time saver. Right now, even if we do it as a collaborative session with all the people involved in this kind of projects are all together, it's gonna be like the QC time is gonna be reduced by maybe an 80% or 75%, which is I think an amazing time saver.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Peter. Great to have you back for a while at least. Yeah, so now let's move on to our next innovator, who's going to talk about something slightly similar, because we again have a collaborative platform, but this time it's a multilingual editor. So Rinaldo Dieziger, please take the stage.
Yeah, good morning from LA. It's very early here, so I need some coffee. So here's a problem we all know. You write something, then you'll send it to localization, then you wait, then it comes back, then something's off, and then it goes back. And meanwhile, the content team and the localization team have never actually worked together. Not in real time, not in the same place. That's just, how it works. It's been that for like 20 years, and we decided to fix that. Next slide. This is the multilingual editor. It's one document. It contains every language, every team, all at the same time. Writers and translators are literally in the same file, working in parallel, not in sequence. Works a lot like, from Google Docs. The handoff doesn't happen because it doesn't need to. And when you're done, you just export what you have to Word, XLIF, Markdown, an Excel spreadsheet, whatever your pipeline already uses. It fits in, it doesn't take over. Next slide. Now, speed without consistency is just fast mistakes, right? So we built a full context layer into this tool. It has glossaries, translation memories, style guides, all connected to the document, all vectorized, so the AI actually don't understands it. And you can bring your existing TMX and TBX files, or you just upload your existing style guide in any kind of format, and the AI pulls out the rules automatically. It works in every language for every market and every writer, that they all have the same source of truth. All these components are shareable. Next slide. Yeah, and so here is the part that I'm most proud of. The AI isn't something you go to. It's not a chat window like ChatGPT where you paste your text and get the whole thing back rewritten each time. The AI lives inside the document. It knows the structure, it knows the brand, it suggests something, it's a specific edit. You have track changes, you can accept it or reject. And the working AI inside the document, block by block in context, without losing what you've already written, that's the thing that doesn't exist yet. So this is really content creation and localization in the same moment for the first time. It's live and you can try it, and that's it.
Wow. Really cool stuff, Rinaldo.
I love the improvements to our email. Show up late, lose your spot. We gotta use it next time.
You're right on time. I loved speed without consistency is fast mistakes. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's take a question. Veronique, do you have a question?
Sure. Good morning, Rinaldo. Great delivery so early in the morning. Great,
Thank
great
you.
pitch.
Thank you.
So I have one. I understand that you've got the context layers, right?
Mhm.
When you have multiple users, AI agents, they're all editing across languages in a document. What prevents, an incorrect suggestion for actually propagating at scale?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean. What do
So
you
let's
mean?
say there's a mistake that's made by one of the contributors,
Mhm.
and that's picked up by the others,
Mhm.
and it propagates across the document. How do you catch that?
How do I catch that? Whew. So the AI is basically something that is built into multiple layers, so you can have an AI agent to talk to, and then it brings in the suggestions in the document. But there's also like two different layers of AI that work in the background all the time, whatever edit you make to the document. One is checking everything for the connected resources if it complies to it. So whenever you have a word rewritten by someone, it's gonna flag it. Oh, this is not complying to this connected resource. Also, all the different language content blocks, they are aligned automatically. And then when you change something in one language, it's gonna flag it in the other language. You can define which one is the source of truth, or you can just go with the latest one edited.
Great. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Rinaldo. And now
Thank
let's
you.
move on to our next innovator, Tom Bridges from Caption Hub, who is actually gonna present to us an innovation on hardware, not just software and processes.
Hello, everyone. I'm also in California, so it's
Good
early
morning.
here, and yeah, I'm going to see if I can do as good a job as Rinaldo. So I'm going to be talking about the Timbra Link today. 2 years ago, we were honoured to win the PIC with Timbra, so thank you very much, Dragons, for that. Timbra is a unique solution for creating live captions in over 250 languages, and it's fantastic for broadcasting events across the internet. And it's being used by some of the world's largest brands, but there was something that kept nagging at us. And that was because while streaming was growing, something else was growing just as fast, and that was in-person events. So conferences, venues, corporate gatherings. After COVID, the room wasn't just back, it was bigger than ever before. But the room usually had no built-in transcription, or usually has no built-in transcription. If it does, it's tens of thousands of dollars of built-in hardware. That's a really high barrier to entry, and not to mention the specialist setup required. Audiences expect instant personalized accessibility, whether that's deaf and hard of hearing attendees or non-native speakers. That expectation is already there. But there's no simple plug and play way to bring real-time localization into a physical space. And this is what we're trying to solve for. Click, please. So we built Timbra Link. It's a small device. I don't know if you can see that. Not much bigger than 2 packs of cards. You plug audio in, you plug it into a display, and you get live transcription and live translation coming out. And that's really it. It supports over 250 languages, so on the main screen or on any phone via scanning a QR code. There's no complicated setup, no tech team, no dedicated operators. You plug it in, and within minutes, the room has transcription. And you're getting the same Caption Hub technology behind huge events like NVIDIA's GTC, Oracle's Cloud World, and Amazon's reInvent, to name a few. It's accurate and scalable. You're not just getting a transcript, you're also getting our full intelligence layer on top of that. So whether that's sophisticated MT, speaker identification, real-time summaries, formality, profanity settings, and so on and so on. So we're bringing the cloud, or we're trying to bring the power of the cloud right into the room. Click, please. So any event, any language is accessible from day one. You don't need to change your setup. You don't need to hire extra staff. And every single person in the room is now in the conversation, whether they're deaf or hard of hearing, whether they don't speak the language, they're still there. And actually, it even works for people outside of the room. NVIDIA recently used our in-room technology to caption over 20 breakout rooms for Jensen Huang's keynote at GTC 2026. Timbra Link can put this technology in the hands of any event organizer. At Caption Hub, our core mission is to improve communication. Modern technology gives us a really unprecedented capability to do that. And what's different about Timbra Link, we think, is giving anyone with a microphone and a display the ability to benefit from this. So this is Timbra Link, transcription and translation anywhere for anyone. Thank you.
Brilliant. Tom, great to see you back at the PIC. Great to see the move back to, I'll kind of say back to analog, but into the room. Maybe it's still digital, right? I many years ago, I used to be the one who owned all the dongles. If anyone remembers what a dongles is, I had a box of dongles. Got the nickname, by the way. Great to see a piece of hardware in here. I think we have some questions. This time, I think Marina is going to ask on behalf of Tommaso. Is that right, Marina?
I will. And Tommaso's question. Tommaso has left a few, but what I'm going to ask you is kind of to follow up on Dave's mention about hardware. So the question is, how much of the audio processing and translation actually happens on the device versus in the cloud? And what does that mean for latency? Like how many seconds typically pass between when a speaker says something and then the caption appears on the screen?
Sure. So the answer is very little is happening on the device itself. We're streaming audio to the cloud and we're getting captions back and putting it onto a display. But the effects on latency is really minimal. You can see here the picture of Timbra Link in action. Unfortunately, there's no audio here, but it's almost prescient in terms of how quickly it's coming up. So we're dealing here with transcription, not captions, and you're getting word by word or phrase by phrase, and it's in lots of cases sub-second latency. Translation, there's more than that. With translation, we wait for a full sentence before doing a translation because otherwise we're getting junk. But for transcription, it's very, very fast.
Thank you. Super interesting. Thank you. So let's move on to our next speaker. Looking at the title, I get reminded of some of the topics discussed at Gala. Gala just happened earlier this week, and one of them was that the TMS is not maybe needed anymore. And here we are going to have a talk from Sofia Johansson, whose innovation wants to break the dependency from the translation business management system. So quite related. Sofia, tell us more about this.
Thank you. Well, can you please show the first slide? But it's animated. You can please continue so we can see everything. Well, speaking from personal experience here, Comactive has been in the business for 30 years, from the time of physical servers, sending translations by a fax machine, until our era now, with the era of AI. And obviously, we were working with the TBMS at the core of our operations, and also continuing to add other systems and CAD tools, TMS platforms, etc. Over the years, and found ourselves in a bottleneck, actually, where our TBMS was holding us back because we were handling the same data in multiple platforms, creating a lot of admin for our team, and stealing focus actually from our clients, where we should be focusing on. So we finally asked ourselves if we even needed this TBMS. Next slide, please. So in 2023, we decided to replace our TBMS fully with an API-first workflow model. And this model connected HubSpot for sales, Phrase for project management, and Fortnox for invoicing. And we almost immediately saw good results in 50% less administration and also 60% shorter lead times due to a cut of manual steps in our process. And now in 2026, still working with this model, we see even better results, more efficient process, and quicker delivery times. And then next slide, please, as well. So what we actually gained from this shift from the TBMS to a more modern setup with API was that it was not about building a complex system and setup. It was about simplifying and actually removing all the steps, taking a necessary time from our team. And our new model is actually completely system agnostic. So anyone can copy and use this as long as they have the open API access in the background. And needless to say, this was also a more cost-efficient solution than having a TBMS as well. And freeing this time for our team means that we can also focus more on client strategy, knowledge sharing, and also more about building relations with our clients. And also testing new technology and aiming for localization excellence in the long run. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sofia. Good to see you on the PIC stage. And let's see if we have a question. Is Peter still in the room?
I am. Hi, Sophie. That was very interesting. It looks like a great project. You mentioned cost efficiency. Can you provide us with some actual data on this? Like, how much are you saving?
Well, compared to investing a lot in one big TBMS, this is actually quite a low-cost solutions with other support systems. So we have invested more in our CMS, for example, HubSpot, and in Fortnox. So we have reallocated these costs into our other systems, so to speak.
And are you actually saving time compared to the previous way you worked with this?
Yes, I've been working here for 9 years now, so I've been very involved in the operational team, and we were basically administrating the same type of information connected to our projects in one system, and then we were doing it in the second system for processing it onto invoicing, and in the third system for so. And also we cut a lot of manual steps because we have triggers between the different systems, like status updates and so on, triggering other steps that we would have to do manually before. So this saves a lot of time for our team, I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
so much.
Sofia. Great to have you on stage. And let's move on to our next innovator, Vieux, who was actually on the big sneak peek stage in Monterey.
Yes,
And now you
yes.
are on the big stage. So welcome.
It's quite an
welcome.
honor. Thank you, Marina. Thank you, Dave. Thank you to Veronique and everyone who take the time here to be here today. I'm so excited. Yeah, being on the PIC stage last year was quite the feat. And I see that there are previous winners here. So, there's obviously competition to beat out here. So really excited to talk about what I'm going on. So as it says here, I will just preface with this, if I may. I am an AI engineer now. I'm incoming at Nintendo of America, where I will be doing localization engineering as well, just for context.
Let's move on to the next slide.
Okay, timer begin. So the localization industry is sitting on $1 billion time bomb. Every tool deployed to defuse it is reactive, rule-based, and architecturally blind to the actual failure. Let's explore what that failure looks like. Well, in 2017, Facebook's neural translation system converted good morning in Arabic into attack them in Hebrew. A man was arrested for this. In 2018, Ray Dalio's Beijing podcast became nonsense mid-sentence. These are not just edge cases. Peer-reviewed research found that 43% of GPT-4's English to Chinese outputs exhibit translationese. Misclass 7B, 76%. And over a third of the fine-tuning data used to correct these models is self-contaminated with errors. What makes this structurally dangerous is that LLM models don't know they're failing. Calibration error is 5 times higher for non-English languages. Legal hallucination rates at GPT-4, 58%. And every tool in this market catches none of it. They are string matchers in a world where semantic collapse is becoming the norm. And useless tooling is rampant, and zero preventative guardrails exist. The market just shifted. Next slide, please. Lexi Guard is the world's first preventative AI output guardrail. And it's not improved, it's not enhanced. No. The first and the only. Every competitor checks 0 boxes across 12 dimensions. I mean, the difference is purely architectural. What's more, this has only been a dream for enterprises to date. The Guard architecture is built on 3 technical realities that every competitor ignores. 1, multilingual transformers process intermediate representations in English, regardless of output language. 2, first off, you cannot even apply identical safety rules to Finnish and Arabic and call it safe, right? But Guard solution is language family aware pipelines across all language families. Also, confidence scoring collapses under multilingual conditions. When your system says 90% confident in Arabic, in reality, it's only 18% confident. That's a safety issue. Guards safe, validate, or reject decisions and not pass-fail offer a calibration gain in robustness and linguistic inclusivity. 3, our methodology detects semantic drift in real time. So what we get is 90% plus output purity and LLM independence, all backed by 34 pages of peer-reviewed research. Next slide, please. So for impact, the outcomes are concrete. We boast 30 to 40% reduction in time to market. Translators can focus on complex decisions, not mechanical failures. Plus, 90% output purity and legal defensibility, license-only RAG, full audit trail, etc., are built in from day one. The companies that need this are already localizing at scale. Nintendo of America is in active talks to implement LigSeek into its workflow. Why? Because cultural hallucination for a game release reaches millions of users instantly. They know the problem's real. I'm an AI engineer who's worked inside these pipelines. I've seen these failures firsthand. What I built is not a new tool on top of the same broken paradigm. It's a rethink of where the failure actually lives. Thank you.
Excellent. Really nice job, Vieux. Nicely done. And woke me up, can tell you, lots of color there. Veronique, we have a question.
Slides.
Yes, it was hard to find a question, to be fair. This is really good. Thank you, Vieux.
Thank you.
So I'm going to focus on the 10%. You're talking about 90% output purity. So what happens when Guard fails to block harmful content, or when that 10%, what happens when it doesn't let good content through or doesn't stop the harmful content?
Thank you, Veronique, for the question. Well, of course, I presented a very complex architecture that roots itself into a manual approach to ensuring that catastrophic outputs are stymied. What I've detailed in my research, and what I didn't have time to go into here, so I'm glad that you asked, is that there are guardrails for human error as well. Of course, our human-centered approach to TEP, MTPE, etc., are established in order for us to make sure that these outputs, which of course go through this filter, go through this guardrail for GenAI, are caught at the end where we're doing LQA, formal LQA, of course, with our partners, with our enterprises, with our shareholders. These individuals are key because they enable us to identify pain points, these ever-developing aspects of cultural development across state lines, across country lines. And these enable us to ensure that our content that we use Lexique, of course, to filter into, to identify that these issues can remain at prime, right? So quality, standard quality assurance that we see these tools can accomplish, but also ensure that we can streamline the process for a facilitated internationalization initiative.
Absolutely great. So the powerful invisible layer behind to make sure to catch that 10%. Excellent. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Veronique.
Thank you, Vieux. Fantastic, really very information packed.
Thank you.
Let me say one other thing, and Vieux alluded to it, that he had been through the PIC SNICS platform. Marina mentioned it as well, which is for students the last time. So great to see the evolution. Well done to you, and good luck with your innovation. And we love seeing that kind of evolution.
Thank you, Dave.
Speaking of evolution, I don't know if this is devolution coming up next. We have someone who's been a dragon a few times. Marina, maybe you can introduce the next speaker.
Oh yeah, I knew Ben Cornelius was involved in the PIC. I wasn't sure whether as an innovator or a dragon, so now I know. So come Ben to the stage. Let's see how it feels to be evaluated. Yeah, I'm actually very much looking forward for your innovation, because this is something that I'm working on as well, and I'm super excited that you're going to talk about open source Workbench for language data management. That is, I know how complicated that is. So share more, please.
Awesome. Thanks, Marina. Thanks, Dave. And yes, it's fun to be a contestant. I've been a dragon a couple of times, but this is different. So for those of you who I haven't met yet, I'm Ben. Many of us have been working with translation memory for a long time. Slide. And over time, it stops behaving like data. It starts behaving like a dumping ground. What goes in comes out in ways we don't trust anymore. And now, with AI, that problem doesn't stay contained. It spreads, it amplifies, it breaks things faster. I've been working across language services, technology, and on the client side for over 35 years, and this problem has never actually been solved. Translation memories have the tendency to become our system of record, as well as dustbins. So are we moving at the speed of linguists or the speed of bug fixes, right? Most of us rely on engineering support or a proprietary tool to clean this up. What was once a problem for linguists, quality folks, and PMs driving schedules is now central to everything that we do, because AI and automated language systems depend on good data, or we get bad outcomes at scale. Slide, please. That creates a gap. Engineers don't speak all the languages, language teams don't have engineering support on demand, and leadership expects it to just work. For 7 years, clients have been coming to us to fix this. So we built something to close the gap. Not another platform, not another dependency, a simple deterministic way to make language data usable by everyone. We rolled up decades of technology experience and language know-how into a tool. It's free. It's open source, and it's available on GitHub right now. It's not LLM based. It delivers consistent results with language assets from nearly all language technology solutions. Using tools like Phrase, MemoQ, XDM, or even WorldServer, we've got you covered. I just need to leverage this XLIF file with this TMX and glossary real quick. Please do. It will actually be real quick. It runs locally. No data leaves your secure space, no lossy importers. You pick what you need done, and it just does it. Does it have a side-by-side translation editor? No, it's built for data assets. It's not a translation workbench. And you probably have one of those already. Trados or MemberQ on the desktop, or a myriad of cloud solutions, right? So take your data to the cleaners. Make it clean and nice, especially if you're going to share it with an AI system as your source of truth. Slide, please. This matters because Language Data Workbench is not AI magic. LDW is deterministic, not probabilistic. You get the same result every time, which is exactly what AI systems don't do. AI, MT, and localization workflows all depend on good data. LDW is built so anyone can create that, not just engineers. It's open source. Come contribute to the project, pull a copy down. Everything it does is available via its APIs. We released the first version of our Okapi integration this month. Okapi is extremely good at making TMX and XLIF files, but doesn't cover the things LDW was built for. And yes, we're working on semantic AI leveraging and other AI features, and those will come later in the year because this tool is under active development by my team and I. For decades, nothing has been focused on what the LDW is focused on, the data that makes all of this work. Everyone is talking about AI and translation, but AI doesn't fix bad data. It amplifies it. LDW is the first desktop tool to make your data reliable. Thank you.
Hang on time. Ben, great to see you on the stage. Take data to the cleaners. Love that line. Must do that after this show.
We should.
I'm going straight to the GitHub, totally. You'll see a peak in visitors, I'm sure.
Good. I'd love it.
Let me ask a question on behalf of Tommaso, and then I'll ask the remaining 100 questions next time I meet you.
Okay.
So a question that Tommaso has, and me too, is about this pipeline that you described, right? So it sounds like you have a multi-step pipeline, and that's where the power is, right? This sequence of activities that you actually run, or like operations that are queued. So
yes.
Can you walk us through a, let's say, concrete real world example of a workflow where you've actually run that cleaning process? That will help us understand exactly how the tool works and what are the simple one operation at a time workflows.
Yeah, I wish I had time for a full demo. We have a lot of simple operations that can be done, like find all of my empty target strings and throw them away, right? But when you want to do a whole sequence of things, like you're preparing a data set for machine translation or AI training, then you are running a multi-step pipeline. I want to do all of these things, and I just want the output. So you can pick and choose a bunch of different operations, or you can pick one of the pre-configured batch operations and just say, do this, right? It works with XLIF files, it works with TMX files, it works with glossary formats that are in Excel. So I can tell it, look, I want to clean this TM, then I want you to use that TM to leverage into this XLIF file and give me the results. And it just does that. So it's got a pretty easy drag and drop UI, dragon pun included, and you just include what you want it to do.
Does the sequence matter? Like as a user, do I need to know the right sequence?
No, for the pre-canned workflows for things like prep my data for MT, we've already got that baked in, right? So that sequence is baked into the pipeline. The added pipelines that we'll be adding will do other things that are semantically based, but highly constrained, because I don't want to lose that highly predictable behavior, right? When we go out to an AI, what is the outcome really going to be? They don't do it the same twice in the same day. Sometimes they're lazy and they don't finish the file and lie to you and say that they did, right? It adds a lot of variability. So what we're doing with these pipelines that'll come out later in the year is we're using XLIF as really a control plane. We're writing and reading metadata from the XLIF during every substep, because with XLIF, I can create a whole lot of custom metadata attributes and create and destroy them on the fly. So it helps a lot with making sure that what you wanted to happen did. And when we use this with clients, they're always surprised, because if I run it twice, it's the same, right? If I want an addition from what their data migrated to in the last 4 months, it's easy, right? I can extract by date and say, give me 4 months worth of stuff. Let's see what happened, right?
Thank you. Yes, thanks. Fascinating. But you know, Dave, we haven't yet had the human elements in our pitches, right? So maybe we can repair that by inviting the next innovator to the stage. And that's Henrique Cabral from Works. I hope I'm pronouncing this right.
Yes.
Who is going to talk about AI as an engine for human opportunity?
Hello, guys. I would just ask one favor. Hi, Dave. If by any chance on the second slide, if the video doesn't start, could you please do that? Just as a, okay, so I'll start right away. Okay, so next slide. It's heartbreaking to see AI displacing humans, but it's even more heartbreaking to see that we don't even need AI to do it, because we do it ourselves. In Japan, a group of brilliant, technically minded women have completely discarded single mothers. Over 50% of Japanese single-parent households live in poverty. A rigid corporate culture demanding grueling hours forces them into low-wage, non-regular employment. They are systematically discriminated against, viewed as a liability, and effectively exiled. Meanwhile, businesses face a paralyzing catch-22. They must translate millions of critical technical words to compete, but traditional human experts are too expensive and raw AI is too dangerous. Where the traditional mindset saw a dilemma, Automation Anywhere saw a human opportunity. They wanted to use their scale to rescue this displaced talent while driving tangible business benefits. They brought this vision to Works, asking, how do we implement this meaningfully? Next slide, please. To rescue these experts and bypass the AI risk trap, a standard translation tool wasn't enough. We had to provide them with a cognitive exoskeleton. Automation Anywhere provided technical content, and Works provided the platform and training. How do you empower a technical expert who doesn't speak English to master high-end localization? You stop asking them to translate, you provide them the framework to hunt, inspect, and challenge. The innovation is augmented technical synthesis, and here's how it goes. Works generates a highly contextualized Japanese draft from Automation Anywhere's curated linguistic corpus. But we don't just hand over dry, pre-translated text. Our interface actively flags translation smells. Our visual indicators highlighting risk zones and warnings like, this English source is ambiguous, it could mean a hardware failure or a software loop. Then comes the augmentation, specific semantic alternatives and technical guidance provided directly in Japanese. The expert isn't decoding English syntax. She's using her native engineering intuition to snap the AI's logic gaps into place. The system evolves with her. Translation smells actively learn from her corrections and suggestions she ignores, sharpening its intuition against that specific text. The human is not just in the loop, she is the conductor. We didn't automate the human out, we automated the language barrier away. Next slide, please. This wasn't just a successful localization project. It was a reclamation of human dignity. For Automation Anywhere, the Find the Catch-22 paid off. Highly sensitive content once deemed too dangerous to automate is now driving revenue in Japan. The quality didn't just meet the bar, it shattered it, challenging traditional bilingual subject matter experts. The program is still ongoing and is expanding as we speak. For these experts, the impact was life-changing. They weren't handed a gig. They were empowered to fulfill their destinies. From being cast away by a system, they are now at the vanguard of a new one, an elite class of AI human collaborators. For us, it was the confirmation that the human-centric tech makes sense and pays off in more ways than one. In a world saturated by innovation, the ingenuity of how tech is applied and the intentions behind it is often far more important than the feature itself. That's it.
Hey, great job, Henrique. Really nice and well presented, as usual. Let's take a question. I think Peter has a question for you.
Yeah. Hi, Henrique. Firstly,
Hey, Peter.
congratulations on the rebranding. It looks great, I think. I'm curious as to if you had more feedback from the single mothers, but also what happens next for this. What are your next plans, and also what feedback you got from the single mothers about how they could use it and whether it helped them regain, could they make money from it?
Yeah, so I think the main thesis here is that, and that's something that we've been working on a lot. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that the idea that traditionally we have always worked with this source and target idea, like from A to B, from A to C, and having translation memory and traditional linguistic corpus to work with. And we've been working hard on the system to be able to be a more engaging and immersive tool and experience that basically blurs that idea of you are actually translating. So like this specific program we did, like I said, we provided training, we provided the material because many of these people, they were not professional translators, and sometimes they were not tech savvy. They were not very comfortable, in a computer environment. So it was very successful to see the actual results, with Automation, where the feedback that they provided us is that the quality of the material, how the material was received by their clients was very, very good. So the hypothesis that, well, you're just using human intuition. Those people are not translators. They're not professionally trained. They are just using their previous knowledge and background, college to apply to a specific Japanese text. They're not bilingual, as I said. So moving forward, I think that's to go to your question too, is that the idea that our tools, our platforms are really blurring the lines between languages and the capabilities of audio, video, text all together, and making that accessible and easy for all kinds of populations to use.
Excellent.
Thank
Great
you.
stuff. Thanks, Peter. Great question. Henrique, thank you very much. Great pitch. And Marina, that brings us towards the end of today's session. We've just had
Yes.
some 9 fantastic pitches.
Yeah, I loved it how we started with self-improvements by AI models that learn from their own mistakes, and we ended up with improving other people's lives.
Yeah. And everyone was very good on time. That's my measure.
I see.
So where are we going with this? Everyone is having a go to see if they can get into the PIC final at Local. That's in June 10th, actually. So Local is 9th to 11th, and the PIC final is on the 10th in Dublin. We have another session tomorrow for anyone who wants to join. Otherwise, I want to thank our innovators. Well done. Thank you all very much. Great job. Virtual round of
Thank you very
applause for you.
much.
I also want to thank our dragons who have the tough job of going through their notes and thinking about who they want to vote for and bring through to the final. So it's a very tough job, and they take it very seriously. So I want to thank them. We have Veronique and Peter still on the call, and Tommaso is not here today, but he'll be checking this out later. So thank you all very much. Have a great rest of day, and see you at the next one.
Thanks, folks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.